Hey, how's it going today? It's Frankie here and welcome to Terror Tuesdays again. And I'm not sure how to feel about this movie. It's called VHS Summer Camp. And the reason why I decided to give it a watch, because I love my VHS type movies, right? It's not the type of VHS movie I thought it was going to be. Like those other VHS movies I did a review on, which I think were adult movies. But this one is not exactly how I expect it to be. I thought it was going to be a bit of anthology mixed into it. But reading about it and watching it, yeah, I should have expected it's going to be this sort of movie, to be honest. I should have realised it. It's about these group of friends that, spend some time at a summer camp, which is like, where they go into like, the woods and there's like a cabin there and they spend like the night there, wherever it is. So that's basically the sort of movie that it is. I might get a bit confused with the characters. There is quite a few characters involved. But I will probably get the hang of it somewhere. Or I might just mention some scenes where something happened to this person, or I might just refer to them as that. But yeah, I think I've got hold of some of the characters anyway. I didn't like how the movie started, because they started with like a juxtaposition type thing where it was these two people. I forgot their names. And they were talking. This guy was talking about, because basically from a TV screen. I was thinking, I hope that the movie won't be like this, but it was just a glimpse about the TV screen. You see, like the guy just saying, "Oh, we're going to be talking about how these college friends or whatever type of friends these are that go into like the cabin and spend time together in the day. They will die from like a killer or something like that." And then it also, shows that this guy, I think his name's Evan, who has a dream that something happens to one of his friends, and he wakes up, and it's not just him that actually believes that something is wrong at the camp. It's also Carrie, who of course had to make her have visions. We're not talking about the whole movie character Carrie. They're talking about a different Carrie, and she sees like visions of like this girl in like the woods or something like that, and it turns out to be her sister. And I'm gonna give a lot of this movie away. And the owners, Shane and Dana, they end up being in some sort of like ritual type people that they're into this like death, and they have a book where it talks about death and how to that casting spells. And Dana ends up being another sister of like Carrie and this ghost girl. I forgot this. Did she say her name? Don't think she said the name. Don't think she said the name. But yeah, and they end up being like involved in this ritual type stuff. And Evan sort of sees some stuff on the tapes, and these tapes are like predicting the future. So he sees Allison die, and obviously like after Allison dies, Dana sort of says to the group, "Oh, Shane just took her to the bus stop," or whatever it is. And he also sees another part of the tape where he sees Kyle going a bit crazy, and you do see a scene of him going crazy and him actually getting killed, like it's shown in the movie. So it's kind of like a future type thing. He's looking to a future. But when Kyle gets a hold of that tape, he obviously says he obviously gets told he's going to die next. Now, in situations like this, for me, if I knew I was going to die in that particular way, I would just try and alter the time. I know you can't really do that, because if that's predicting the future, that's showing you how it's actually going to happen. I guess you don't really have much of a choice, but because you have to end up following that path anyway. It's just quite, crazy and quite annoying. But I guess in those sort of situations, you have no choice. But the best thing to do, if I was in that situation, if I knew I was going to die in a particular spot, I would not be at that spot. It's easier said than done, I guess. But yeah, and I think that's all that Evan sees on the tapes. And Carrie knows there's something wrong with her, so she sees the girls go a few times, and they suspect something's wrong. And you see Tony, that's a bit of like a skeptic, you could say. This is what I like about skeptics. They always get proven wrong. They're one of those people where they always seem to get attacked, or they seem to die like when they don't expect it. Like, that's usually the crazy. I find it funny when they get proven wrong. Not in that way, but in the way of like when they actually see something, they start saying, "Oh crap, I guess you guys are right." And the majority of the people are right, because if they've seen the same thing and they tell the same story, it's obviously going to make you just like start believing it now, because you see it yourself. So it's like, oh crap. And I think I forgot who it was. I think it was Tony or somebody else. He actually like sees like Shane, because this is when Shane go like, I think there was a small customer from Dana where she slit his throat and blood poured out, and you see him just walk around. He has a big, like, some sort of like dagger or something like that, stabbing people. The first time Alison got away, then she eventually got killed. So yeah, and I got to mention the acting in this movie isn't too bad. I know the characters probably could have been better. I think the producing out there could have picked better sort of characters for this, but they acted out okay. It was fairly decent, not the best. And it's not the best movie I've seen, but it had potential to be something more. And you know, there's some of the dialogue as well. It's like they did act a bit dorky, like that Tony dude. I think he was the one that had that laugh, which I found a bit annoying in the movie. And yeah, by the way, I didn't mean what I said about, oh, it's a good way for them to know. Not by death, obviously, but it's a good way for skeptics to know that they're wrong if they see what they saw and they experience what they experienced. Like, not getting hurt or anything. I didn't mean it in that sense, just to make it clear. Because people call me evil or whatever. But I'm just making a point of what I see in movies. And yeah, he had that sort of annoying laugh too. So, and then he obviously found out that they were all telling the truth because Dana was trying to get him killed, basically, where she got him into like a room because she wanted to act like she wanted to sleep with him or something, and Shane just came in and Dana started saying, no, don't do it, and she just started stabbing him. I'm surprised, you know, these people die after one stab. Then again, it depends on how your body takes and depends how deep it goes, but I'm surprised actually Tony survived that. I thought Tony was Kyle, but it was actually Tony, so hope I'm getting that name correct. And yeah, I'm going to skip past the dialogue where they talk about romances, you know, those having feelings with each other. I'm going to skip those bits. But yeah, they had to talk about the campfire and all stuff. So yeah, you know, this movie isn't too bad. You know, it could have been more added. It didn't feel exciting enough for me, and that's a disappointment with these movies. I like the storyline. I like the intrigue behind it. I kind of thought the acting was okay. I felt like it was a bit too short. Like, how all of a sudden, like, this spell worked on this guy. Like, when I think was it Sarah that was doing the spell? I think it was Sarah that was doing it. Where she had the book and she started announcing the spell, and there was this one of the people that came out. Basically, I think it was one of the kids that went missing. Whilst Evan was talking about a particular tape, and that they were scared of it because they were all trapped there. But this person wasn't a ghost. This person wanted to be set free like that. So I think what the spell did, I thought the spell, when like Sarah was doing the spell, I thought it was originally gonna make the dead come alive again. But it wasn't the case, because Carrie saw the ghost go again towards the end of the movie, where they were talking to the sheriff, and the sheriff didn't know, you know, they couldn't find anyone match Alison's description, something like that. And yeah, so it was a bit bizarre that I thought the kid was a ghost, or I don't know, if didn't look like a kid to me, but I thought the guy was a ghost, but he ended up to be trapped there for some reason. He was scared of the tape. Maybe he was under the influence of the tape and possessed. And Evan, I think Evan probably told him to have a weapon and start like stabbing him, like stabbing Shane after, because Shane was immortal after like Dana gave him some sort of spell, I would assume, because that's what Dana was saying, something like that anyway. And yeah, so I don't know how Sarah did that, and it was already done after that one spell. Usually something would be the person would be acting more sporadic after a spell like that, but after a few stabs he went down. So it was disappointing there was not enough effects in the movie. This movie's certainly better than the one I watched yesterday. It was certainly better than that movie I saw yesterday. It was called Alien Vengeance, I think. And it was a similar duration of time. So, I think it was anyway. So there was no reason why that movie is bad, but this one is a slightly better. Not too much, slightly. Probably rating or two better. But yeah, a bit disappointed this movie turned out like this. Especially the end part. I mean, there was parts of this movie that confused me, especially the ending too, where the guy had a nightmare. And he had a nightmare that Dana actually killed somebody just to, you know, get a vehicle or something, and she was already dead. So that confused me, because I thought, oh, he's back. It's back to this scene. What's happening? Because he actually originally had the dream at the start where he saw that, was it? I think it was Sarah that got killed. I can't remember who it was. And then I was actually thinking, did they die as well? And did they stuck there? It turns out we don't actually know. He did see something on TV with those two people that you see at the start, saying, "Oh, these same college kids were the ones meant as kids, but I know what they mean. But it's like these college kids. Oh, these college kids were taking something more powerful in like VHS college days or something. I can't remember what it was that title that they gave. And you see a VHS tape at the top, and you think, I think it's Evan anyway, but you see Evan trying to pick it up. And he looks at it, and he's kind of like contemplating whether to watch it now. Because if he does watch it, he'll be under the spell again, and he'll probably see somebody that he doesn't want die in front of it, basically. And he just put it back on top of the TV, which is, you know what? That's actually the right thing to do. I don't think he wants to know. I do believe that tape is actually like probably, well, it's not probably, it is cursed up, and where I think those people will actually die whatever he sees. So maybe if he doesn't, put the tape, if he, since he didn't put the tape in, I feel like there won't be some sort of something that portal open it, because I think that curse is like a portal that opens up to what do you call it, like a time thing, like another dimension or something, like time traveling to like seeing the future, like a glimpse of it. So if we were to put that tape in, that might have started off the curse. You know what I mean? That might have started off, but since he didn't put it in, I don't think any of those I don't think any more kills happen. I think the curse would automatically be broken out, something like that. You know what I'm saying anyway. I don't know what your theories is to this, but that's just my take on it. And I'm pretty sure that's probably the majority of the movie. It's quite mad to see a movie like that, and that's how you know a movie isn't that good, is when you've literally mentioned the whole movie in like 12 minutes. Just like I did. That's basically the whole movie. If you count the boring bits and the bits that aren't important, that's all you're going to get. It's just the example stuff. But this movie had some potential. I actually thought it had potential. I thought at the start, I was just like, it was not one of those movies. Acting wasn't bad. At least the audio didn't sound like it was something from in a bathtub. At least that's something. At least the audio was clear for a movie like this, and for characters that I didn't think would fit the description for a movie like this. They acted out okay. I'll give them this. So this will be a low rating type of movie, but you know what? It's one of those low ratings where they could have done more. Whoever the producers, I would tag that person and people in. Whoever the producer and writers of this movie, just to let you know as well, you could have done so much more. This movie would have been so much more exciting if you had added more to it. So yeah, I probably would be alright. I mean, not the best movie I've seen, but there's potential. So this low rating, I only had to rate it, I'm only going to rate it this low simply because there was not much happening. It was quite tame for a movie like this. It's not what I expected. There wasn't really much. I mean, the only thing that was good was probably the quality of the movie, the acting, and that's, well, the audio probably, but I don't really talk about audio that much. I'll probably say acting. That's the only thing that's good in this movie, so that's why I'm rating it quite low. At first I would have given it a 5. It doesn't really feel average. Maybe they would have done a tiny bit more into the movie, I probably would have given it a 5. I don't think it's close to being average. I think it deserves at least a 3. I think the movie's not that great, I got to admit, but there's some potential. The acting was okay there. They could have had more crazier wild kills. They could have had, because then the guy looked like he was dead. They could have had more of a devilish effect to him, like him talking demonic or something would have been more interesting and exciting to me. But again, this movie could have been more, but it's a bit below average, to be fair, but below average but potential. It's a strange one. But yeah, 3 out of 10 it is. If you enjoyed the video, please give a like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification below. So see you in my next video.